tauschen machen. 3, 1, 0. Alles etwas schwerer.
1, 3.
So, ja, danke.
Danke.
Hallo? 2. Mach's gut, Dora. Hallo? 8, 3, 4, jawohl. Österreich, Reserve.
Immer noch.
Nein, nein.
Schweizer Urbergfahrt.
Ja. 4, 5, 4. Alles gut, alles Gute. Ja, jawohl. 9 für Nummer 11. Nummer 20. Hallo, 4, 5, 18, jawohl. Tschechien, Reserve.
Das Problem mit ihrer Waffe also ist ein Schraubenlocker gewesen. Und da musste sie eine ganze Strecke die Waffe so in der Hand tragen, was natürlich sehr, sehr gut.
Welcome back to Antholz. You join us in the glorious northeastern Italy on the Austrian border and the highest stop on the BMW IBU World Cup circuit. A host of 6 World Championships and the excitement building here ahead of next year's Winter Olympic Games with Antholz hosting the biathlon races. We can take a look at the course, which I'm sure plenty of you are now familiar with. We continue the last weekend of racing before the World Championships with the women's 10-kilometre pursuit, 5 times around the 2-kilometre loop, 4 shooting stages, and another brilliant look at this newly refurbished stadium and range here in Antholz. Alongside myself, Ellard, once again, is former Team USA biathlete Chad Salmela. And Chad, we should be in for a thriller today. Lou Jean-Monod secured her 5th win of the season and will lead the way, having won 2 out of 3 pursuits this season. The other one by the yellow bib, Franziska Preuss, who starts 17 seconds behind her yellow bib challenger. An inspired performance on the skis from Lou Jean-Monod on the first day of action here in Antholz. Just 1/10 of a second behind the ski time of Anna-Maria Lampic. And she really is in good form as we take a look at Franziska Preuss.
Yeah, that's really the outlier yesterday, was the fact that Jean-Monod skied as fast as she did. We have not seen a ski time quite that fast from her, maybe ever in her career. And then to hit 10 for 10, what do you do against that? Franziska Preuss and Selena Grotjean tried to take the victory from her. And Grotjean, 1 miss on the day, or clean on the day, and only 7 seconds back. That's a huge. It's even a bigger ski performance from her. So it's not just Lou Jean-Monod, but it really is the way the race stacks up right now. If you look at who's shooting well and who's skiing well, Franziska Preuss and Lou Jean-Monod should ideally pull away from the rest of the field, but it's a pursuit. Anything can happen.
Yep, Selena Grotjean proving more than that she's here to stay, her 2nd World Cup podium of the season. And as we take a look at the finish for Lou Jean-Monod in that sprint on Thursday, it could be an important day for her. Chad, another victory this season will draw her level with Sandrine Bailly and Justine Bressard-Boucher for the most wins from a French female athlete in the season. She wears the red bib today, and we take a little little bit further look down the start list, and we don't need to go much further than bib number 5 to find another French woman, Julia Simon. She loves the pursuit, but only one podium in this discipline this season. She's starting bib number 5 today, 38 seconds back. Chad, we've seen her throw down some blisteringly quick first half of races, but then struggle in the latter stages. She dropped 4 in the second prone in Oberhof, for example, after going clean through the first 2 visits for the stage. Is this an opportunity, with the time difference being the best of her season, this position she's starting in today? Is this an opportunity for a more considered race from the Frenchwoman?
Well, absolutely. That's the trick, isn't it? She has 6 wins in this discipline. It's the most of anybody in the field here. The 2 other athletes have 4. Lou Jean-Monod has 4 wins in this discipline, and Elvira Oberg's not racing today. She's got 4. So she is absolutely cut out for this pursuit event. It's what she's cut her teeth on for her career. They're her best performances, and she's spectacular at it. But this season, your point is really well taken. She's been herself up to about the standing shooting mark. Her standing shooting this year for Simone has dropped a bit. She's 77% off of 81% last year, 85% 2 years ago. So struggling with the standing is Simone, and if she can fix that, that's what she needs to do, because she gets the momentum with an 86% prone shooting accuracy this year, and gets that momentum, moves up the field, but every time she's been close to striking for the win, she's failed in the standing shoot. So she's got to overcome that to win today.
Yeah, it was really interesting hearing her speak after the sprint race on Thursday. She said she's found herself again and called it the best race of her season so far, despite 2 individual podiums, which I think it was a really interesting take on the fact that she's seeing the improvement, even though it's not resulting in podiums. Yes, of course, she will be the first of, after Lou Jean-Monod, then 3 French athletes, Jean-Michel and Oceane Michelon, going behind her. We can see Selina Glotian there, Chad. We mentioned her already. She is more than in the battle with Oceane Michelon for the blue bib, which currently sits on the shoulders of Jean Richard, and those youngsters separated by just a space of 41 seconds.
You see Jean Richard just over the shoulder of the red bib Jean-Monod, who's starting number 1 today. It's going to be red bib followed by Grotian, then the yellow bib, then Dorothea Veer. We haven't talked about her. She's the hometown favorite. She's got 2 wins in the discipline, but she's won 5 events here in Antholz, and she's poised to win another one if anybody chokes at the front of the field.
So Lou Jean-Monod gets our 10-kilometre pursuit underway here in Antholz. The red bib pursued by Selina Grotian, the 20-year-old. She went from 10th to 5th in Oberhof. She has gone the other direction in some of the other pursuits this season. She'll be hoping to continue her good form and find herself back on the podium in what is a breakout season for her. Followed shortly and quickly by Franziska Preuss. And there is Dorothea Veer, Chad, as you rightly mentioned. She was world champion here in the pursuit in 2020, and lots of talk about this being her last World Cup race here, of course. We do hope that she'll be back for the Olympics. Lots of talk about her ending her career after the Olympics here. 2 4th-place finishes, no podiums this season, but just 28 seconds back. Could this be her day, Chad?
Absolutely. I mean, the key is her skiing has been getting better every race, pretty much all season. She had a good race in Country Lap, and then a couple of bad. It's a sign that her fitness wasn't great there. Her fitness is now on, and I think Dorothea Veer is getting ahead of steam, heading into Lenzerheide. This would be an absolute Dorothea Veer kind of day to win today. Kind of just slowly creeping up the order of the world standings, and I think she's absolutely a favorite. She and Julia Simone are the favorites in the middle of the top 10. But it's also a very tight competition all the way down. It's 15 athletes in a minute. That's a pretty tight women's field.
It is indeed. As we get the pictures back. And some other names to mention. We saw Justine Brassard-Boucher. She's bib 16 today. Malin Kirkeide, the highest placed Norwegian, bib 12, and Hannah Urberg wearing bib 11. Hannah Urberg was she was 4th 2 years ago, Chad. She will have to pull off something very similar to what we saw of her sister. Not quite the same distance she'll have to make up as what Elvira did in Oberhof. But what do you make of her chances today?
Well, she's not historically as solid in the pursuit. Her biggest event is the individual and the sprint. So Hannah Urberg will have to sort of buck the trend of her career to win a day. She's certainly one of the people to look at further back in the field. She starts 11th at 58 seconds back. But, it's an asterisk. She's definitely somebody who can do it, but it's a but. And the but is somebody has to start missing at the front of the field. And with who's ahead of her, lots of great shooters. Got Yulia Jima in there from Ukraine who shoots great. High prone shooting percentage. Osia Michelin trying to get her first victory. There's lots of people waiting to pounce off the first 3 starters. Yeah, we have to say as well, Amy Berserger of Switzerland coming into form in just the right time ahead of the World Championships in Lenzerheide next month. Not improved her skiing this season, Chad, but she has shot up in terms of her shooting accuracy, where she holds 91% overall accuracy. Yeah, and that's a great point. Berserger raises a great point on fitness and form. Berserger's average ski performance isn't very great, but when she threw a great race together and shot clean, she was suddenly on the podium for the first time in her career. And that's what these opportunities, when there's a lot of pressure, World Championships just looming 2.5 weeks away, and it's your last chance to train or prepare for that World Championship moment, and you're one of the favorites. Something like Amy Berserger, who's just into her own race, shooting clean today, could absolutely surprise. Yeah, her, of course, as Chad mentioned, her first World Cup podium, third in the individual in Ruhpolding, but one of her previous bests was actually here in the mass starts last season. It was her first top 10 finish, and so we know that she likes racing here, as you can see Julia Simon round the corner into the descent. So through the first time check, Lou Jean-Monod at 1.7K. There she is. Her time is going to be 3:53.8. Grotian started 7 seconds back. Preuss another 10 after that. So 7 and 17 are the times back. And we want to see where they come in comparatively. Here is Grotian now at 17 seconds back. She's already lost 10 seconds to Lou Jean-Monod. So Jean-Monod's form yesterday holding true so far at just 1.7 kilometers into this race, pulling away certainly from Grotian and also from Preuss. Preuss has lost 5 seconds as well. Yeah, both the Germans losing time on Lou Jean-Monod. From Selina Glotian's point and perspective, Chad, would you expect, you wouldn't expect her, would you really, to try and make up that time, those 7 seconds that Lou Jean-Monod had? And would it be a case of just taking this first lap as it comes, not throwing any, spectacular times down and just easing into this race? Yeah, honestly, she probably is just going to take stock after the first time check. Coaches will tell her where she is compared to Lou Jean-Monod, and then you make a decision as an athlete. What is your strategy? Lou Jean-Monod is probably not thinking anything either. She's probably just going out there and sensing what she's got for sensations in her skiing. And right now, her skiing looks about as good as it did yesterday. There's Grotian now coming in. Getting great breath. I love the microphones on the range. You can hear the breathing as they approach. I didn't see the shot, but that fourth shot sounded like a trip. It barely went down, but she gets all 5. Glotian and Preuss now. And a miss for Grotian, a miss for Preuss as well. Absolutely dead calm on the range. The flags are completely still, and Lou Jean-Monod is going to have a big lead after shooting number 1, because nobody clean behind her, and she's the only one clean so far. Simone goes clean. Yep, the only athlete who's clean after her is French teammate Julia Simon. Relative Velo with 1 miss. Time back growing. Simone coming through shooting number 1, 34 back now for Simone. She's the only one who ever erased any time, and she's only erased 4 seconds on Jean-Monod. She did that all on the shooting range, most likely. So Selina Glotian will pull out of the penalty loop. Franziska Preuss will follow her, and Jean Richard, the blue bib, clean through the prone position, through shooting 1, and she will slot in just ahead of Franziska Preuss. You can see Richard just almost perfect for the entire season. As you see Dorothea Vera with an uncharacteristic miss from shooting number 1, drops to 9th. But really, Jean Richard, 98% prone accuracy this season. And throws another 0 on the board and takes the 4th spot behind Jean-Monod, Simone, and Grotian. But a big gap opening up from shooting number 1 as this athlete right here, Lou Jean-Monod, is absolutely on great ski form and just as good shooting form. The 4th shot, I was going to say, you can listen to the shots, you may not see them, but a real solid shot in the prone, you'll hear it hit a very metallic sound. And if you hear a little bit of a thud, and the target still goes down, you know that it was probably right on the edge and hitting the piece of metal that goes in front of the target that you aim at, that puts the size of a golf ball up there that you have to hit the center of.
Well, despite being just off the podium here 2 years ago in the pursuit, it doesn't look like it will be Hannah Öberg's day today. 2 misses, she's in 18th, and Anna-Maria Lampic, clean in the prone position, has shot up to 17th after shooting 1.
Yeah, the Swedish shooting problems, besides Ellard Öberg, they're having all kinds of trouble, the men as well. The house of Öberg and Ponsaloma is not having the greatest shooting percentage of their careers this season, and it's tough because it's something that they've trained so much for, but it's so hard to break out of because the pattern gets stuck in your head, and I think that's what Hannah Öberg is dealing with, is that just doesn't have any confidence in her prone shooting. So
already a huge lead for Lou Jean-Monod, who, as we look at the time splits, at 2.7 kilometres, is a whopping 41.5 seconds ahead of Julia Simon, who in turn as well has a 13-second lead on Selina Glotian, and not far behind Glotian, just by 2 seconds, is Franziska Preuss, and a second behind her, young Jean Richard. Well, it was possibly the best biathlon race of somebody who's already doing great biathlon. Lou Jean-Monod is pulling from the ski speed she had yesterday. She's pulling away. She was 34 seconds at the last shooting stage. That's at 2.7 kilometers. She's 41. She's gaining 7 seconds in roughly a kilometer. She's flying out there, and she looks completely in control. Yep, I think that control is a really interesting point. Every time she's come off the back of a win, and come off the back of a big result, what she said most is the fact that her focus has been so solid in the range, and she's gone in having spoken to the coaches and said, this is what we're going to target, is we're going to really focus on shooting. And then each race as well, the skiing just seems to fall into place for her. Yeah, one person who just doesn't have quite the ski groove that she's used to is Julia Simon. I'm not sure what's going on. It's not like she's skiing horribly, but she doesn't have that extra gear that we've seen her have in the past. But at the same time, she's never been in a position where we've actually had to watch it, because she's not been at the front of the field with big shooting misses in these head-to-head competitions this year, where she's normally in the past really been clean. Preuss moving back into third now, moving past Grotian and Jean Richard. Left the range in 5th, now in 3rd. And these 3 chasing the 2nd spot of Julia Simon. Yeah, the only athlete to disturb Lou Jean-Monod's perfect record in the pursuits is Franziska Preuss. That did fall on the weekend, where Lou Jean-Monod felt quite absent in Annecy Le Grand Bonnard. She'd spoken before about how she didn't really want to put too much attention on the fact she was racing on home snow. She said she'd much rather win the World Championships. And Chad, just having that weekend where she took a bit of, I don't want to say a step back, because I'm sure she'd have wanted to perform to the very best, but having that blip of a weekend there, it seems to have worked out that she's come into this final weekend of racing before the World Championships in such good form here. Yeah, and I think it's like any season. You try to find the momentum where you can. You try to control that, but you don't always have control of it, and you just take what you can get. Right now she's rolling. You just got to take it and be happy that you have it. Worry about World Championships when they arrive here, but hopefully hang on to that fitness. Solid hit down the center. Just low of X-ring. X-ring shot. That's a good Olympic shot right there. Right on the edge at 4 o'clock. And just low of center. That is some really good shooting. Prone is done. Now it's all down to the jitters of standing, but this woman is perfecting the sport of biathlon today. Yeah, really solid through the first 2 prone shoots. Just the standing to tackle next. Here comes Julia Simon. She was perfect through the first 2 prone shoots in Oberhof, and it all fell apart in the standing, dropping 4 in that first visit to the range in the standing position. She's 5% lower shooting score than last year. Trying to improve that. Here is Simon. She's rolling through the prone. Yeah, very quick. And great shooting. 5 for 5. Really solid shooting for Julia Simon. And what I liked about Simon is it was fast, but not out of control fast. Sometimes she's trying to put on a shooting show, and she's not trying to do that here. She's just trying to do solid biathlon. I like that approach better for where she is in her confidence. Oh, well, look at that. The battle for 3rd place, and Preuss, Richard and Grotian all go clean.
Vera with another miss.
Michelon 5 for 5 though. She's back in this battle for the podium. Amy Berserger as well, Aita Gaspalan. All going clean.
Stellar shooting from the field today. Top 5 athletes, only 2 misses, one from Preuss and Grotjean. Through 8 athletes, only 2 misses so far after shooting 2. It's an amazing statistic. This Antholz range usually challenging the athletes much more than this, but zeros all the way down to 9th place, except for Preuss and Grotjean.
Yeah, and the Swiss team will take a lot of encouragement for the way the standings currently look, with Gaspalan and Berserger occupying berths 7 and 8. Julia Zima clean shooting in 9th, and Dorothea Vela with 2 misses from her first 2 visits to the range, rounding out the top 10.
Bugornikova had a surprise 9th place, great performance for her, but she's dropped to 11th with 1 miss. But really clean shooting so far. Dorothea Vera, uncharacteristically the worst shooter in the field so far, through shooting 2 with a miss from each stop at the range. Very uncharacteristic of the woman from this valley. Rundle Steinevic with 2 misses too, but she's holding down 14th spot where she started. So good skiing by the Norwegian. She's 2:07 back to 14th. So already the 15th place athlete has lost a minute to Lou Jean Monod. They were started a minute back. They're over 2 minutes back to 15th now. You see the steely gaze of Lou Jean Monod.
It's mesmerising to watch when Lou Jean Monod is in form and focused in the range.
I think other athletes are looking at that too. Like we talked about Suvi Minkinen.
Yeah.
You know, when Finland won the single mixed relay in Oberhof, she said that she channeled her Lou Jean Monod kind of as a joke. But the fact of the matter is, these athletes go back and they watch the performances. You can watch yourself on the shooting range, go back and watch this video, and look at your own focus and look at Jean Monod's. And everybody who's ever done the sport can look at Jean Monod shooting right now and know exactly what that zone is like, because we've all been there. The question is, can you replicate that and go there when you want to? Jean Monod has that mental acuity and that particular skill, and that's why she's good at this sport.
Yeah, and she is an athlete very much in the zone as she turns down into the next descent. She's looking back at 4.7 kilometers, 44 seconds separating Lou Jean Monod and Julia Simon, and then it's over a minute that Franziska Preuss is back off the time of the leader, and just over a second separating her and her young teammate Selina Glotian. 90 seconds between Lou Jean Monod and Julia Zima in 9th.
All things being equal, this looks like a race that Jean Monod can run away with. She's at 44 seconds ahead of Julia Simon. And you'd say, yeah, well, this is over. But I can tell you, I remember one of the early years of the pursuit, Rico Gross had almost a 2-minute lead coming into the first standing stage. And in the last 2 standing stages, missed 5 of 10 and finished 7th. So it can happen. It can unravel. So, you know, we don't wish that on anybody, but it looks pretty tough for anybody else to crack the nut of Lou Jean Monod, but crazier things have happened for sure.
She's got plenty in the bank in terms of time. As Ocean Michelon, you can see, has now been dropped from this group of 3 who are in the battle for 3rd place. It's Jean Richard in the blue bib, indicating her as the top under 23 athlete, although that battle for the blue bib incredibly tight between her, Selina Glotian, and Ocean Michelon, who briefly wore the bib as we headed into Annecy-le-Grand-Bernard. Here is Julia Simon coming towards the 5.7 kilometre time check, and that time has increased once again. It's now 49.7 seconds, so 5.7 seconds Lou Jean Monod has added to her advantage through 5.7 kilometres.
It's not a cascading waterfall at time, but it's a constant trickle, and that constant trickle just keeps giving Lou Jean Monod a little bit more of a cushion, and now she only has to deal with herself on the range the rest of the way if she can just keep doing what she's doing. She was clean in the sprint. Can she go clean in this pursuit? 10 shots left for Lou Jean Monod and a victory. Steely focus.
Just sneaking in that last shot, just clipping the edge of the ring, but it is in, and it is 15 out of 15 so far for Lou Jean-Monod.
My favorite thing to do this year is just watch Lou Jean-Monod's eyes while she's shooting.
Yeah.
It's mesmerizing. She's so in the place, and she comes in and out of it so quickly. Her focus is so acute. Now Julia Simone, she's got a nice big gap on the chasers as well. 20 seconds to anybody behind her for the second spot. Just keep chipping away and exercise the demons of her standing shooting earlier this season.
Yeah, this is where she unraveled in Oberhof. But not today.
Yeah, in Oberhof, she was trying to go fast. She just
Yep.
did great shooting there. This is a great turnaround for her.
And now for the battle for third, and 4 athletes in it. Jean Richard, Selena Glottian, Francisca Preuss, and Oceane Michelon, who's just slightly off the pace of this trio. A miss for Glottian. And Richard goes clean and is in the driving seat for the final podium position, but pursued by the yellow bib of Francisca Preuss. And Oceane Michelon can take advantage of the dropped shot by Selena Glottian.
And Michelon actually in the picture for a podium
Yeah.
here. This would be her first ever. She's not on the podium. Oceane Michelon having a breakout season, but boy would she like a podium.
And we'll look at the podium places and, the flower ceremony at the moment. 4 French women occupying the spaces in the top 5. And Chad, Lou Jean-Monod spoke about it in a post-race interview after that win in the sprint, that the team were training at high altitude over summer, and they don't feel too much of the effects coming here to the highest stop on the World Cup circuit. And that certainly seems to be the case today.
Yeah, that's also a part of it. The fact that this is a high altitude venue, and the French will succeed here. In fact, the great Marte Oslo-Roysland from Norway made a note that expect to see the French women really dominate here in Antholz because they're coming from low altitude stops on the World Cup, back basically home for them. As you see, Dorothea Viera now come through in 9th spot. She put a little bit of stop to the bleed of time there. Had one more miss, but in the standing shoot, but still way back, 159 back. But another statistic to note here: 120 shots taken from the top 8, and only 3 misses of those 120 shots in the field. It is a really good shooting day. The athletes are stepping up and hitting the targets, and Lou Jean-Monod can just cruise now. She's got 41 seconds leading shooting number 3. Lost some time, was 50 seconds up coming in, and Simone took 9 seconds out of her in the shooting range. But I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the composure of Julia Simone after what we've seen from her this year.
Yeah, 100%. As we said in Oberhof, she fought her way. She flew through the first 2 shooting stages, clean in the prone position, and then dropping 5 in the last 2 standing shoots, and 4 of them coming in the first visit to the range in standing. But a really solid performance. She's 15 out of 15 with just 1 more visit to the range to go. But as you can see on the time check there, she is still 41.4 seconds off the time of Lou Jean-Monod, who is absolutely focused, locked in and flying, and will be incredibly hard to beat here. She need a disaster in the final visit to open the door for Julia Simone.
Yeah, it's such a touchy thing though. You know, she's got the 41 seconds, and this is the final shooting stage for, they got the relay tomorrow, but it's the final individual race shooting stage before the World Championships. And really what you're doing at these events is everybody wants to win the World Championships, especially somebody like Lou Jean-Monod, who hasn't won a World Championship title yet. And she is, if she hits 5 for 5 here, she goes into the World Championship with a ton of confidence. But if anything goes awry, you're going to be thinking about that for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it is a long break that we have now in terms of coming off the back of 3 back-to-back race weekends and intense race weekends as well.
Yeah, and I think the thing with biathlon is you can never take anything for granted. The moment you do, the sport will hand you a whole bunch of disappointment. And I think, Lou Jean-Monod, she doesn't need to hear that. She knows that. But as a viewer, you think, like, how could she ever think that she could lose this race? But, the mind worm can do crazy things to an athlete. And when you have 41 seconds and you suddenly feel the steely gaze of everybody on your final shooting stage for the World Championships, if that enters your mind at any point, it can throw you off. So just got to watch out for that and try to keep the momentum. Just don't get any smelling salts anywhere near Lou Jean-Monod right now.
It's a very different scenario, but a similar thought to that is what happened with the French men in that first relay in Consigliate when they're so close to going 40 out of 40 and couldn't quite do it. And Emilien Jacquelin spoke about as soon as he picked up the baton on that final leg, of course, the regular anchor for the French men's team. It was all he could think about was the fact, like, how do I lose this? Will I lose this? And how do I hit? And he spoke about how much that consumed him through his leg of the relay. So definitely something that we'll be aware of. But here is Lou Jean-Monod into the range for the win and a record-equaling win.
You saw it there.
Yep, starts with a miss.
Little bit of lack of self-confidence. Now she's back in the rhythm. Struggled with that first shot, and she's going to ski off the penalty loop, but it's going to be enough, I think.
Yep, she's accrued more than enough time. She could have done it twice. She won't, thankfully for her, and it will be a record-equaling 6th win of the season for Lou Jean-Monod, who will draw level with Sandrine Bailly and Justine Bressard-Boucher for the most wins in a season for a French women's biathlete.
Jean-Monod should leave the shooting range or leave the penalty loop right about the time Julia Simon is into her shooting any moment now. But this is good stuff from Julia Simon too.
Oh, well, that is exceptional. That is superb from Julia Simon, who won't be too far off the time of Lou Jean-Monod here.
Yeah,
she'll have her in her sights.
15 seconds.
Well, we're in for a thriller of a final lap here. 2 kilometers. Can Julia Simon do it?
Richard, Preuss, and Michelin now chasing that 3rd and final podium spot. Michelin wants it badly. She's never been there. But Preuss is getting away, as is Richard. They're perfect.
Oh, Richard just slightly quicker on the final shot, and Franziska Preuss will have to follow her out of the range. Well, some exceptional shooting on the day. Julia Simon, Jean Richard going clean, the Frenchwoman. Out of the top 3, only one missed shot between Lou Jean-Monod, Julia Simon and Jean Richard, and that is from our current leader, Lou Jean-Monod. Brossillan going clean in the final visit.
German crowd erupts, putting Brossillan back in possibly in the top 5 for Germany. Should move into the 5th spot as the 2 Swiss athletes, Gasperin and Vaserga, go to the penalty loop. But today really punctuated by great shooting. But Julia Simon, 15 seconds back, she is a magician with this event. She came into shooting for 47 seconds back, and even though Lou Jean-Monod had a miss and skied the penalty loop, somehow Simon got 30 seconds to evaporate for her. And here's the thing. Julia Simon is probably not on the same form as Lou Jean-Monod, but she is very fast twitch muscle fiber. She can really push herself at the end of a race. We've actually seen her blow up a couple times. I just think it's just 15 seconds. It's a little too much for Simon to take on somebody who's in such good shape right now as Lou Jean-Monod.
Yep, let's take a look at the gap, and 8.7 kilometers it has opened now, 17.8 seconds, so losing time, losing just under 2 seconds on Lou Jean-Monod on this final lap.
And the body language says it all. Simone she's given pretty much everything she has up to this last lap. She's got nothing left to chase Jean-Monod with. She's going to have to be happy with that 17-second gap, and it's probably going to grow based on how Lou Jean-Monod looks skiing right now compared to Julia Simon.
Just based off how she spoke on Thursday about how she believed that sprint was one of her best races of the season, despite, of course, already having 2 podiums to her name. Shooting clean in a 4-stage shoot, Chad, this will give her the world of confidence going into the World Championships.
Yeah, huge. I mean, this is a turnaround event for Julia Simon. She gets on the podium. She's been on the podium twice this season. She gets her 3rd podium of the season going into the World Championships, and she knows that if she can just maybe tweak her form a little bit, she's got a little bit of time to do some training, get some aerobic work back, and just kind of support that anaerobic system she's so good at the end of a race, that maybe she'll find herself battling for a win at the World Championships. But this woman is there any question she's the best in the world right now? She's still going to be down to Preuss on overall standing points, but she's going to have 6 podiums if she hangs on to this, which she should. 6 podiums, and all of them are wins. No second, no third, just 6 podiums, 6 wins. It's amazing. It's uncanny.
It's a great ratio, isn't it? We spoke about it with Talia Boyle yesterday, but it is an incredible ratio of podiums to wins.
Yeah, I mean, Lou Jean-Monod is in the high point of her career right now. And you can see Julia Simon has sort of quit the chase. She's just going to bring it in. She knows she can't catch Lou Jean-Monod, and she's going to take a sprint pursuit double. But the great race for third still on hand.
Yep, and what a race it's shaping up to be. Jean Richard looking over both her shoulders, trying to judge how much she has on Franziska Preuss, who now moves around the side on this climb.
2 fourth-place finishes already this season, and Lou Jean-Monod fighting for third again against the yellow bib. It doesn't certainly Preuss on paper is the faster of the two to the line from here, but can Richard pull out an uncharacteristic ski performance from here to the finish? It's a 1.1 kilometer to decide. She takes the lead into the downhill. I'm not sure that's a smart move. She might have wanted to just sit behind Preuss and take the draft.
Yeah, well, she had the inside line, didn't she, and held the apex well, while Franziska Preuss was forced to go wide. And she'll now once again pull up alongside the young Frenchwoman who wears the blue bib, the best under 23 athlete so far this season, but she's had so much heartbreak when it comes to fourth place finishes. Finally got her first podium on the World Cup in Ruhpolding last week, and it will be another close battle once again, but she's used to it. Jean Richard now.
The replay of the mass start finish in Ruhpolding. These two were working against each other, and Jean Richard got in the draft in Ruhpolding and got the whole shot on her, but Preuss still able to outsprint her for the finish in that instance.
And the yellow bib has thrown down the gauntlet now and really turned up the pace. Willed on by the German coach, who almost takes a stumble as he tries to pull himself to a halt. It is Franziska Preuss who is well away here and in the driving seat for the final podium position. The victory once again, though, will go to Lou Jean-Monod in the form of her life. A 5th victory this season. She does the sprint pursuit double and draws level with Sandrine Bailly and Justine Bressard-Boucher for the most wins of a Frenchwoman in a single World Cup season. And in the form she's in, who would deny her the record outright? Julia Simon is back to her best. 20 out of 20. It wasn't enough for the win today. She didn't have the ski speed to compete with Lou Jean-Monod. But so much confidence and momentum in her sails as we head towards the World Championships. And broken on the final lap. Jean Richard will round the corner. It will be Franziska Preuss who can soak up the predominantly German crowd. A look over the shoulder, an opportunity to celebrate. Franziska Preuss will not lose too much ground again today in the battle for the yellow bib, which she will carry.
Well, interesting finish there. Franziska Preuss used to be the 4th place finisher, the perennial 4th place finisher, and she's handed that title off to Richard now, her third 4th place finish of the season. 1 podium in Ruhpolding to break that trend, but seems like there's always somebody who is good at getting 4th place. Right now that is Richard, but it used to be Preuss, and it's probably a nice thing to get rid of as a moniker.
Yep, and someone who's very good at finishing in flower ceremonies positions is Oceane Michelon, who gains 2 places, having started bib number 7. She finishes 5th, and another of our regular attendees to the flower ceremonies this season, Selina Glotian, who took 2nd in the sprint. Couldn't quite do enough to find herself on the podium again today. She finishes in the flower ceremony positions, though, and well, a good day, a very good day and promising day in the office for Switzerland. Aita Gaspalan over the line in 8th, just behind Amy Berserger. 1 miss on the day for each of those two, going 19 out of 20, both the Swiss pair, and that is very encouraging signs ahead of the World Championships. Lotte Lee, 20 out of 20 clean on the day for the Belgian, and in the top 10. And it's Justine Bressard-Boucher who climbs 6 places to round out our top 10.
No big charges from deep in the field.
No.
Anna Magnussen, the biggest charge, she started in 32nd. And right behind her, Lisa Trushauser, they were 32nd, 33rd, and they climbed to 13 and 12. But when the front of the field is so clean, so many zeros at the front of the field, you're not going to see those big climbs from people way back in the field into the top 10. Julia Simon with the fastest pursuit time beats Jean Monod by 13.9 seconds. Most of that is shooting time. If you look at the fastest shooting time on the day for the whole field is Julia Simon at 1 minute and 25 seconds. And she was relatively under control for herself.
And of course, some extra money pocketed by Julia Simon there. As introduced this season on the IBU World Cup, we have prize money going the way of our net time pursuit winners.
Just looking for the shooting time of Lou Jean Monod, trying to figure out how much time she lost on the shooting range to her teammate.
Well, particularly that final 2 visits, the final visit for Julia Simon, quick and clean. And when you look at it, you know, we mentioned the ski time, obviously not there to compete with Lou Jean Monod, but the shooting capability and accuracy today is exactly what she needed, a huge step up from the last time she started a pursuit in Oberhof and here in Antholz. Just a few weeks later, she's really excelled.
Yeah, Julia Simon took 19 seconds out of Jean Monod on the shooting range time, so that's significant. But on the course, Lou Jean Monod almost doubled that, 40 seconds faster on the course than. So in net aggregate is 24 seconds at the finish between the two of them.
So 60 bibs, but we only have 55 starters, 5 DNSs today. And we have 9 athletes remaining out on the course.
It was a tight start today. Usually about, we look at about 2:45 is the pretty typical start back for the 60th spot. It was 2:28, so a little bit inside that. But I think, the concentration at the front of the field, I thought it was going to be a tighter race than it was. But I have to say the absolutely pristine shooting conditions in Antholz really gave the athletes a platform from which to excel at hitting lots of shots. And the zeros are quite a few zeros at the finish. Because Julia Simon and Jean Richard in the top 4, they both went clean. Lotte Lee went from 17th to 9th with clean shooting. And then Trabucci of Italy stayed even. She started 20th and finished 20th, but she shot clean on the day as well. To 1s as well, 19 for 20. But really pristine conditions in Antholz for day number 3 to 4. 56. Inka Hämäläinen, youngster from Finland. Just 19 years of age. She'll probably feature at the Junior World Championships, in which she should have a good shot at a medal, if not a victory.
Yep, the youngest competitor on the World Cup this season.
This woman can do no wrong, it seems. One missed shot, 19 for 20. But her ability to focus on the range is just unprecedented at the moment.
When she turns it on, she is unbeatable. She's proven that this season.
Winding down the finishing stretch, that's Johanna Talihärm of Estonia in the 53rd spot. 2 more competitors to finish.
Gina Ermit, 7 missed shots today. She's just running so hot and cold this season. Plenty of occasions where she's gone 10 for 10, 20 out of 20. And other times where it's 5, 6, 7 misses. The consistency just not there for the Estonian this season. As our final athlete over the line.
Tomacho, yep. The distinct hair. Let's see. For the Moldovan.
And we can take a look back at Lou Jean Monod and that steely focus, which we just love to see this season.
So good. so solid, just goes through the processes of biathlon so well. It wasn't a terribly nail biter of a race, but it's really fun to watch Lou Jean-Monod at her best and just basically ski and shoot her way away from the field. It's another victory, 6th of her career, of her season. Will also be the Lou Jean-Monod's total will go from 9 to 10 wins today. He breaks the 10-win mark. Nice to see Julia Simone back kind of at her savvy self again.
And what a battle this was for 3rd place. Franziska Preuss. It's incredible consistency, and just that one miss in the first visit to the range in the prone position. She holds 3rd, back-to-back 3rd place finishes for Franziska Preuss. It's Julia Simon who climbs up 3 places to take 2nd. Perfect shooting on the day, and lots to be excited about from Julia Simon's perspective, and back-to-back wins for Lou Jean-Monod. 6 wins for the season, her 10th victory, and just in incredible form. Justine Brassard-Boucher, one of the big climbers, Anna Magnussen, Lisa Theresa Hauser as well. Look at Lena Haki-Gross, up 45 places to finish in the top 15.
Yeah, we're looking at the gap from Preuss to Jean-Monod. Preuss in her 10th podium this year. That's incredible considering she didn't have that many coming into the start of the season for her entire career. Now she's got 10 podiums just this season, and you know, this really is the season of Franziska Preuss and Lou Jean-Monod in different regards. 6th podium for Jean-Monod, all of them wins though. 10 podiums for Preuss, 2 wins, and the battle tightens. It's 879 now to 787. I'm sure we'll get the graphic very quickly of the overall standings, but Preuss obviously remains in the leaders bid, but losing just a few points. She'll get 65 points for her 3rd place today, while Jean-Monod will get 90. So 25-point gap there between the two of them in just today's points total. So now 92 points separating these two athletes.
Yep. And
a victory is 90. So if you win and one of the athletes, you know, doesn't get in the top 40, that's almost a swing right there. But Preuss still doing, you know, still at the top of the field, just not beating Lou Jean-Monod today. And
in the battle for the blue bib, just 44 points separating Jean Richard, Ocean Michelon and Selina Glotienne. That is a brilliant battle which will rage on, no doubt, for the rest of the season. Franziska Preuss continuing as expected with a point advantage that she had to hold on to the yellow bib. Julia Simon, though, climbing up the table, and Ocean Michelon as well. Selina Glotienne both climbing up. Suvi Minkkonen, who wasn't present in today's pursuit, dropping down 3 places to 8th, which just shows you how tight it is. She's gone from 4th to 8th in the course of just 2 days. But of course, we hope that she'll be back in full fitness for the World Championships in Lenzerheide.
Yeah, when it's tight like that, if you miss a day for any reason, you're just giving up oodles of points, especially a 2-day combo of the sprint and pursuit. Of course, Minkkonen had a really tough sprint competition. She raced, but did not qualify for the pursuit competition. First time really out of the top 30 this season. And Minkkonen, we wish her a speedy recovery and before the World Championships. Get the pursuit scores coming up here very shortly, and Jean-Monod well in control of that. She wears the red bib, coming in with 2 wins already out of 3 races. She makes it 3 out of 4. And this has become the discipline of Lou Jean Monod.
Well, we so regularly speak about Julia Simon and her love for the pursuits, with 6 total pursuit wins. And Lou Jean Monod with now 3 wins from 4 this season.
Lou, congratulations. Amazing competition, leading from the very start to the end. It seems so easy, but was it like this?
I wish I would have made 20 out of 20 to be a bit more chill in the last loop. So finally I had to push hard for being sure to not being second from Julia's pace. And but it was a tough race in my mind, and being alone all the way was a bit long, but finally it was cool.
Now you have 6 wins during one season, which puts you in the same line with 2 of other French athletes who had the same result. How does it feel to be among the top women French?
That's really meaningful to be one of the main, even for French athletes, because we are all really strong at the moment. So being on the top is really meaningful.
Great job today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, she talked a little bit about it there. Being alone is sometimes just as hard as being contested. As you see the World Cup pursuit score, 293 to 241. 52 points between the two, Preuss and Jean Monod. So Jean Monod keeps the red bib there and extends her lead on Francisca Preuss. But it seems from outward perspective, when you watch something like Lou Jean Monod, that when she has 41 seconds, that it's a relatively easy task for her to bring that home. And as she pointed out, it's not. This sport of biathlon can really set you back and make you question yourself. Regardless of the situation, you have to master all situations, and today was a new situation. She's great when you're head-to-head and the race is on the line. She's great at delivering, but today she had to wrestle with herself, and she prevails again.
Well, it was mentioned there in the interview, Chad, and it's something we've spoken about a lot now, drawing level with 6 wins, which is the record for most wins in the season for a French woman, and surely she'll take that record outright. It will be a matter of when and not if now.
Yeah, I see a few more wins this season in her future. I think Lou Jean-Monod now, even though Franziska Preuss is leading the World Cup, Lou Jean-Monod, as far as winning, she's winning at an astounding rate right now. Six podium finish, 6 wins out of 13. So she has won nearly, it's a 14th competition today, and she's won 6 of them. That is a pretty amazing statistic, even though Preuss has 10 podiums now out of 14 races. That's also equally impressive. But these 2 athletes, the French woman and the German woman, have turned this race for the overall World Cup Crystal Globe into a 2-person race to the finish, and the World Championships will not figure into that trophy. So a little bit different goal now as they go to the World Championships, and you wonder if that'll change either of their approaches to the World Championships. I doubt it will. I think they want to win a World Championship title as much as anything else, but then they got to come back after exhausting World Championships and 3 straight weekends to close out the season to try to hang on and battle each other for that Crystal Globe. It's going to be a pretty exciting rest of the season for this women's field.
Yep, no doubt at all about that. As you can see, plenty of relief on the face of Julia Simon. A really solid performance from the French woman today, but her compatriot is the one who tops the standings. Will continue to wear the red bib and claims her 6th win of the season.
Parce que voilà, non, je te jure. Congrats. Et solide. Le chef pour le World Champ. Elle est solide, mais j'en connais une autre qui est plus solide.
Almost perfect. Almost.
She's perfect.
Yeah.
She kept the perfect attitude to learn the ride.
Yeah, that's right. Good luck for there. Super.
Yay, wow.
Well, Chad, we've just seen some of the male athletes flick through the back of the screen. They're zeroing, not far away from getting started. The men's relay in a slightly unusual programme here in Antholz will be next up in less than an hour's time now at 2:55 Central European time. We will be getting underway with that, with coverage starting 5 minutes before. But first, an opportunity for the fans who pack out the stands here in Antholz to celebrate the winners and top 6 in the women's pursuit.
Natalie Santer, the IBU Executive Board member, handing out the prize today, lives just down the valley in Toblach. If you've watched Cross Country Skiing World Cup, she's a major part of the organization for that event, but also still serves her spot in Biathlon where she competed.
Well, Franziska Preuss, another podium, her 10th of the season. And well, we always knew with the points gap that she would hold on to the yellow bib. Her advantage, though, has been cut to less than 100 points for the first time in what seems like a very long while. 92 points separating her and Lou Jean Monod. So a battle that will rage on as we return to World Cup action after the World Championships.
Great rivalry, a friendly rivalry. They're completely friendly to each other, but it's turning into quite a battle this season between those two athletes. And both of them emerging in different ways. Jean Monod much earlier in her career than Preuss, but Preuss emerging to a level that I think a lot of Germans have been waiting for. And Julia Simon poking her head into the fight as well. She moves to the 4th place in the overall standings with this podium finish today, and it's nice to see because she has definitely struggled. And I love the composure. She looked like a veteran today out there, not throwing caution against the wind in her most spectacular form. She gets this podium with a little bit of control on the shooting range, and I like to see that, especially with the way she struggled this season.
Yep, her 3rd podium of the season, and she's admitted as well that she loves seeing the battle between Franziska Preuss and Lou Jean Monod. But today it is Lou Jean Monod who prevails. She does the sprint pursuit double. Back-to-back top spots on the podium, and her 6th of the season. A record equalling performance from the French woman, who will now have her eyes set on taking the outright record for victories, individual victories in the season by a French female athlete. There's her bouquet of sweets up high. It's pine leaf and then some local sweets and chocolates that are made into the bouquets that the athletes receive.
Looking back at the results from Antholz 2 years ago, and Lou Jean Monod popped in there 2 years ago in the top 10. I remember we didn't really know who she was, kind of a new name, but now we know who she is, as she is atop the sport of biathlon.
Well, we talk about just how many times Jean Richard finishes 4th, but Chad, she just really looks to be enjoying it. We saw her just messing about with the mascots, and she just seems to be really enjoying her time, not just on the World Cup circuit, but in the blue bib as well, and just soaking up the atmosphere and the occasion.
She doesn't seem to feel like 4th place is an affront at all. She's absolutely radiant up there with 4th place. 3rd, 4th place finish for her this year, and she says, "Don't feel sorry for me. I'm doing just fine."
Stands next to her teammate Oceane Michelon and Selina Glottian, occupying the final place on the podium in the flower ceremony. There's the French dominance and good form from the French athletes, continuing 4 in the top 6. And well, the other 2 places going the way of Germany with Franziska Preuss and Selina Glottian, and things looking very good for both these nations ahead of the women's relay tomorrow.
in einer Stunde
We'll be
circa
back first though in just less than an hour's time with the men's relay. That gets underway at 2:55 Central European time, and we do hope you join us then.